We are live. Did you ever clear? How many bottles did you get?
Just 2.
Yeah.
How's that look?
Looks like a fruity fucking drink that some twink at a fucking bar in Aruba would be drinking, meaning really
It's an old
rich.
fashioned.
Yeah, but that's not an old fashioned. Jesus
Yeah, it
Christ.
is.
Yeah, but it's not a Wisconsin old fashioned.
No, it's not the fucking terrible brandy old fashioned.
Yeah, no, that's no way.
I just like using grapefruit rather than orange, and then you put a nice toasted sprig of rosemary in there because I'm using rye rather than brandy.
You're supposed to mash it, and
I
then
did. I muddled the bitters and the
out of there.
sugar.
All that shit's out of there when you drink it. Come on.
I've never taken this stuff
What
out.
the fuck are you doing?
I'm having an old fashioned.
That's not an old fashioned. That's a fruity fucking drink with a bite. No, I'm not going to allow you to call that an old fashioned.
It's an old fashioned.
No way. No way.
It's bitters and sugar and a wedge of grapefruit.
Dude, back in my bar drinking days, I would get an old fashioned because it would slow me down because it tasted so fucking awful and it was so strong.
This is still just basically rye whiskey, and it's rye.
Right, and I drink brandy old fashions because I'm from Wisconsin.
Yeah. The brandy old fashioned is pretty good. The classic like brandy old fashioned.
Right, but it doesn't have any of that shit in there. Like they mix it, they pre-mix it, and
they muddle it, and then they take it out. Yeah, I'm lazy, so I'm just leaving it in there.
Okay, there we go. You're lazy. They had one at this bar we went to down in Minneapolis that was an Earl Grey old fashioned. Yeah, they'd take Earl Grey leaves and muddle it in there.
I mean, that sounds pretty good.
It was quite good. Very, very bitter, and bitter is like my least favorite flavor profile.
Yeah.
Like sour, sweet, salty, all that shit.
Yeah.
And so it would slow me down. Like my buddy and I, Fro, which you were talking about.
Yeah, between brandy and tea, that's got a lot of goddamn tannins in it.
Yeah,
and bitter, yeah. Ooh.
And Fro would drink these things like he'd have a few for my one, which was unusual back in the day.
An old fashioned is like a drink where you have one. You don't sit down and have multiple old fashions.
Well, Fro, he's a character, man. He likes that bitter. He likes bitter stuff. Right?
So do I. Yeah, that bitter. That all the tannins. Tannins are right. Awesome.
And I'd sit there and I'd be drinking martinis or what the hell did I Jack and Diet Coke, all that shit.
I mean, I could have a martini after this. I got nice gin and vermouth too.
Right, but like I'd be drinking and like getting there, and I'm like, I got to slow down for a bit.
Yeah, take a breather.
We're having a good conversation. I don't want to fuck that up. So like, he's like, well, hey, let's start with the old fashions. And the bartender like heard us, and she was awesome. She'd be like, okay, 2 Earl Grey old fashions. And I'm like, Earl Grey? And he's like, just. I'm like, okay.
Hold on. Yeah.
And, I taste it. And I'm like, it's bitter, but the aftertaste is not bad. So let's.
No, it's definitely one of those. It's very, the old fashion's a very forward heavy, burning, terrible. It's one of the things that develops like as you're.
Yeah. I mean, it still wasn't good. Like, cause alcohol tastes like shit.
It does.
In general.
It does.
Like, it was something that would slow me down. And it's like, okay, well, we're having, because Fro and I used to have epic conversations at the bar, like to the point where the bar backs were sitting there, like, washing dishes and shit and like getting things. And they'd look at us and be like, right on, man.
Yeah. Right on.
Right on. Yep. They'd be agreeing. It's like, you get the bar backs, like taking time to just go, oh, okay. And then
giving everybody that's in the earshot some food for thought.
Yeah, and God, I have a lot of stories with Fro.
I haven't met him yet, have I?
No, and we should like this fall, I think, because last year we went out. He came out in October, and we went to an orchard, picked a shitload of apples, and made applesauce, and we canned it.
That sounds awesome as fuck. I love applesauce.
Yeah. I still have some. Oh, I should have given you some. Well, next time we can do that.
Yeah, you didn't give me any sauerkraut either. I forgot about it. I gotta
make more. I gotta make more.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
that was good, wasn't it?
It was really good, but you're gonna struggle with your one cabbage plant.
Well, I'll just have to buy cabbage. Yeah, starting plants this year, I was not I mean, I was really sick still, so like I
And
tried, but like
it's been kind of a rough year for plants.
yeah. And the tomatoes, only one plant I thought was dead, but it's got new leaves on it, so I'm like, oh.
It's probably just right in that hard edge of
Yeah, but the
barely
rest of them,
keeping
dude, they're
itself
all
alive,
dark,
you know?
and they're like tripled in size from when we planted them.
Yeah, well, this intense heat, we're in such a low atmospheric pressure, such high intensity sun.
Right. And I've been watering them every other day at least,
Yeah, they need
Like,
it.
yep. And so they're not wilting. The peppers are doing great. I got peppers out there already. Little
Bam.
ones. Yeah. So like that, the fruits of your labor will be recognized. But so I think we should have you and Fro down in the fall and maybe do like some vlogs of like just us picking tomatoes or apples and like canning for a day.
Fair.
Or
Wine and cheese tasting. Just be really pompous about it.
Yeah, yeah.
In like our
Well,
most like redneck get-ups ever, like North Midwest.
yeah, but no, Fro is he's fucking awesome. Like he's such a good
I've
like
heard a lot of stories about him. He sounds like
me
a
and
pretty chill dude.
he's the kind of guy that he and I like even when back in the bar days of drinking and shit, like we would stay relatively straight, not get totally fucked. Everybody else is passed out. And we'd sit out and we'd talk the whole fucking night. We'd talk from like 11 p.m. until like 6 in the morning. And we're like, oh shit, the sun's coming up. Oh fuck.
Yeah, we should probably do something. Time to
Yeah,
make
but like,
breakfast.
yeah, he's a conversationalist, and so am I. And like, he's so easy to talk to about anything. Like anything goes. And but anyway, so that's what we did last year, and yeah, he was like I'd never canned before, so I taught him the basics of like water bathing because you can do apples because they're so acidic.
Yeah.
You can just water bath them. You don't have to pressure can them. And we made the applesauce from scratch. We cored all the apples, cooked them.
It's a lot of work too, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fucking work.
Apples are a lot of fucking work, unless you got one of them cool machines that does all the shit for you.
No, yeah, I don't. But like, I have a mill to like get the skins after you cook them. I have a mill to get the skins off and just a sauce.
Yeah.
And then canning them is like, yeah. But anyway, so we did that. We should do that this fall. Like, have a day or a weekend rather.
You just got to give me a 2 weeks notice. My boss, he owes me a lot of vacation time. A lot.
And so yeah, Fro too. Like he, if I give him notice, we'll make a weekend of it, a long weekend, and yeah, and he loves shooting guns, and he's pretty good at it too. He was a novice, and then I was the one that convinced him to like just get a gun, just get a handgun.
Yeah, just buy something. Yeah.
And he's got a CZP-10, I think it's called.
That is a pretty nice gun.
Yeah. And we went over to the neighbor's house and we were shooting it, and he's not experienced, so like he was getting a decent group like this big.
Yeah. Center mass group.
Yeah, he's like, well, why don't you shoot it? And I'm like, okay. And I was getting groups like this big, and I'm like, oh wow, if I'm getting groups that good, this is a good gun.
Yeah. And
like, so he's really level-headed and like a really good friend, and he's one of those friends that he won't fuck you,
Fair. He sounds like a pretty upstanding guy. So.
Yep, he's very straightforward. And
yeah, that's good.
Yep. But anyway, so yeah, we'll do that because that'll be a fun. I mean, even though it'll be a lot of work, it'll be a lot of fun, and then everybody goes home with canned goods that we did.
I mean, I better get something. I helped you plant that whole fucking garden. So.
Well, most of it. But yeah, it's gonna be awesome. So yeah, I'm so excited for like the harvest.
I know, right? It's gonna be. I mean, if we get some fucking rain, it's gonna be good this year.
Yep. Well, even so, I'm really glad I don't live in a fucking town. I have a well.
Yeah, watering so you don't have to be on water restrictions. Yeah.
Right. It's like, well, I'm just watering, and it goes down. The shit that goes down into the ground farther goes back into my well.
Fair.
So, it's amazing. So, yeah.
Well, we already had everyone try to guess what your camouflage was. We had somebody ask what mine was.
That's what I was just gonna say. Like, what the fuck are you wearing?
What am I wearing? Well, I'm wearing the Portuguese M64 Bush jacket. Bush jacket, which back in the 60s has very stuff that we would consider very modern nowadays, like the breast pockets, all that other good stuff. And it is the legit Portuguese one, which is basically a greener exact copy of the French lizard pattern, just on a thicker, heavier fabric.
Yeah. Yep.
So, and it's got a jillion buttons. There's like 15 buttons for the front of this blouse. Nice. I don't know why they did that. They could have got away with 4.
Right.
So, but yeah, it's got a brass zipper and then 15 fucking buttons. And I'm actually not supposed to be wearing it like this. It's supposed to be worn up all the way like that. It has like a standing collar.
Yeah, but did those guys really wear that?
No, like these guys, you would hardly even usually see them with it buttoned up like even this far. They would usually have it like down to
if I was
talking like the deep.
If I was wearing that, I would just do the buttons. I wouldn't even do the zipper.
Zipper, fair.
Like because the airflow is a lot better with buttons.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I love the jungle fatigues, the U.S. jungle fatigues.
Just the buttons, yeah. You can't go wrong with
buttons, and it's
can't go wrong,
dude. It's the fucking jungle fatigues. Like, let's be honest, that's a great fucking uniform.
Yeah, I'm really glad that they made the new version, and they kind of went back to some of that, kind of a little bit.
Yeah, I had the shirt or the blouse rather, and
pants are I was much more impressed with the pants than I was with the blouse. So
yeah, because you're a skinny little fuck that doesn't have an ass or thighs.
Dude, yeah. So
like we were talking about that, like you were saying, like when I was like, oh, so what size should I get? You're like, well, they fit really.
They're really snug. They're like European snug. Yeah.
Yeah, and I have like the fucking ham hocks for calves and fucking. I don't even know what the hell my thighs are. They're big.
Yeah.
It's funny because my legs don't have fat on them. Like my legs are like.
You'd probably really like them if you found a pair that fit. You'd probably really like them. They're nice. They're nice.
Right. I just don't want to tear the fucking crotch out of them.
Well, they put the like 330 denier nylon crotch gusset in there, so it's not even normal fabric. You'd have to literally blow out nylon. And it's like the same nylon they're making body armor out of nowadays. So like it's very wear resistant. You gotta like want it.
Yeah. Eventually, I'll try and get a pair of pants because I had the shirt. I wore the shirt, and it's like,
yeah, I wasn't all that impressed with the shirt.
And like, so you haven't worn jungle fatigue pants, right?
No.
They're fucking awesome.
You keep telling me, and I still have to buy one of those nice reproduction pairs.
Yeah. Well,
they're not the same as the originals, I know, but
there's a place I know that more Militaria. He's got the third patterns, which are the most common.
Yeah, that's fine.
The material is a little bit more tacky than the original cotton. Like it's all cotton. Like, but
yeah,
it's like
100% cotton. But like that one blouse you gave me, I was like, that's like nice cotton fabric.
And
like,
when you wash it, it just keeps getting softer.
Yeah, because it's that super dense, densely woven cotton. It's not like the new uniforms where they're so like airy. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, and it's like, I mean, talking to a lot of Vietnam vets that I've talked to in my life, because like when I was a kid or when I was younger, they were in their 40s and 50s.
Yeah, they were just average.
They're not that old.
Average guys, yeah, at that point.
And now they're fucking old.
They're decrepit now.
Right, but like they said that they would last a long time unless you were in like heavy shit. But it's the same as nowadays. Like,
yeah, I mean, if you're in heavy shit, you're gonna tear through that 50-50 stuff really fucking quick too. It just happens.
Yep, exactly. And so it's like, well, 100% cotton is a lot more comfortable and breathable. I know you sweat and it gets on there and it's like whatever, but wearing nylon with cotton is.
Yeah, I mean, I know why they did it. The nylon helps with the durability. It helps with the fade resistance and stuff. Things like that. It's supposed to, on paper, help with the like how quick it dries, but it doesn't really. It's negligible at best.
Yeah, nylon and I don't know. I've worn both. Like out sweating and shit, there's not that much of a difference between dry time.
No, I mean, I'd rather have the 100% because, like you said, they just get nicer feeling as you wear them. I mean, who cares if they sun fade quicker, or they kind of, the hard edges start to fade a little bit more when you wash them and stuff. Who cares? Because they feel so much nicer than the 50-50 ones.
Right. And that's the thing is like, that's what I've said in videos. And it's like, well, you might have to spend a little bit more for a couple more uniforms.
Well, the best part is too, they don't fucking melt to your goddamn skin.
Right. They burn and it's done. Yep.
Because melting your fucking skin, having seen that firsthand, people where they've had to like skin people because their 100% nylon or fucking polyester undershirt melts to their fucking skin.
Well, yeah, and that's why by the time we got to Iraq, like we were wearing for our undershirts, we were wearing the 100% combed cotton, or sage green, which actually looked green to me, which is weird. Undershirts, and they were so much better. Like they were so much, like it was amazing. But here's the thing: is I went through like probably on deployment for the year, I went through probably about 30 of them.
Yeah, whereas the nylon ones, they last a lot longer, but
polyester for US
or whatever they are. Yeah.
Yep, and
synthetic fiber. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not good. Moisture wicking. It's like, well, cotton wicks moisture too.
Cotton does wick moisture. So,
but yeah, it's those were so good. That was like, it felt like you were wearing just normal clothes in a hot environment.
Yeah.
Whereas polyester and the nylon cotton, it was like, woof, this is roasty. Because I tried it a couple times. I'm like, because you could wear both in Iraq. Like you could wear both. And I tried wearing, I got a brand new set of ACUs that was nylon cotton. And I, had the polyester shirt. And I'm wearing that for a few days. And I'm like, God, this is fucking miserable.
This is a nightmare. Yeah.
It's fucking, I got heat rash real bad from the polyester, like real bad. And then when I was wearing the combed cotton shirts, it was like, no, that's just gone. It breathes, the air flows through. And that's also where I had the, so much salt goes through there that I could stand my fucking.
You could stand your uniform up. Yeah.
God,
well, I mean, you have what I wore basically. And except they went to like when they started having problems with people because the Canadian uniform is also half synthetic fiber. It's just really airy. They just basically went to making air techs. They made so it's like a cellular cotton weave. So it's a lot like it's a British thing. It goes all the way back to World War II. Airtex, AERTEX. It's not a very durable uniform, but it's a very loosely woven cotton, almost like a muslin type fabric. And they just printed pad on it, and they used that because it would just. But unfortunately, it disintegrated so fast.
Yeah.
And then it defeated the point anyways because like they were giving us those fucking like Kevlar boxer shorts and shit. Did you ever have to have those?
Nope.
I actually have a pair. Mine are from 2013. They were made in the United States, and I still have a pair unworn because they suck. And they're literal Kevlar underpants that have inserts that go into the front of them to protect your femoral arteries.
Yeah.
You've never seen those?
Nope.
Do I have to get them and show them to you?
Well, I mean, they're gonna look like boxer shorts to me, right?
Pretty much, yeah. Here, I'll show you. Thomas Waters knows what I'm talking about. All right, so just like these, they're Kevlar underpants, and then they have these little pockets, okay, that have Kevlar panels put in them to protect your femoral arteries. They wrap around like under your balls and stuff, and they stick to your leg real bad.
I mean, that's why the good Lord gave us combat application tourniquets.
Yeah, I mean, fair, but like you don't want to Black Hawk down yourself like that one guy, where you're using all the plasma for everyone else because your femoral artery's all fucked.
Yeah, but like it's, dude, honest to God, most of us the males over there like freeballed it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this thing sucked to wear in the heat because Kevlar which is what this whole yellow thing is. That's all just Kevlar.
Yeah, I see. Yep.
Is a synthetic fiber, and it just sticks to you. And the rest of it is basically just
all.
spandex and Nomex, which also sticks to you. And then you have a big-ass Kevlar panel right under your balls, basically, absorbing all of that ball grease and shit that you're wearing, and just
stinks.
literally like Gorilla Glue adhering to your inner thigh. And you have, and we had to, the blast thong, as we called it. So like so you have these under your regular pants, and then you put your regular pants on, which take forever. And then you have this like Kevlar diaper that you wear over this. And I have a multicam one, and I got one of the Cry Precision ones. And it's this just blast thong that you wear that has like a big Kevlar insert that runs underneath your taint. And then it has it's literally just a big Kevlar multicam diaper.
Well, did you guys have the ball protectors like I was wearing for our ballistic test? Like, did you have those, or was that the
nut flap? No, we didn't have the nut flap.
Okay,
thing.
So that was your guys' answer to that.
But there was a lot of people that would have in the United States, especially in Afghanistan, they'd have exactly these and the Kevlar diapers and the groin flap on their body.
I never heard of that. Like, I just don't know about it. Like,
it was a big thing for like IEDs. High risk IED areas, everyone got those.
Yeah.
Because there was a point, like when I was over there, where every single day there was one, if not two, within a 10-kilometer range of where I was, IEDs going off every day.
Yeah, no, I get that, like, totally, but it's still like, I mean, is that really gonna fucking help? Like,
apparently they did enough to give them to everybody. Like, those were given to us by the United States. Like, we didn't pay for them. They're just like, here you go.
Okay, but here we go into the conspiracy shit. Well, not conspiracy shit, but like, so did they actually make a difference, or was it some company making money off the government dole?
Well, I mean, Cry Precision made all of our stuff, and they've been making money off the United States since 2002.
Yeah, I suppose.
But it was actually something that Natick, which is apparently a big thing in the United States, and they develop like all the uniforms and body armor and shit.
Natick, yeah,
Natick. They designed that, and we're like, these are a thing that we should have because it keeps soldiers from dying in a blast, which seems to be how most of the soldiers are dying now, is in blasts. And this is going to hopefully keep them alive in the event of a blast.
Well, but here's the thing, too, is like what I would question is, I'm sure they've done more research than I have, but like a blast, like fragments, sure.
Yeah.
But a lot of times the fucking force of the blast.
Yeah.
That causes internal bleeding and just not good. And I don't care how much Kevlar or fucking ceramic plates you're wearing, like the blast,
the shockwave alone is enough to kill you. Yeah, it'll just perforate your brain and it'll kill you.
Right, like, or your body.
It's that easy. So, but like, no, this is apparently like enough to warrant the change. Just like the ACH to ECH thing, it's almost the same thing, but it's apparently just enough to warrant that change.
Yeah, but like we tested the ECH, and it's like, yeah, it can do more than the ECH. So I get that.
You mean the other way around, right? You said the ACH can do more than the ECH.
No, I said we tested both, and the ECH can do more than the ACH.
No, you said that backwards. You had it flip-flopped.
Did I really?
Yeah.
Okay. But, so you know what I mean? Like, the ECH, like, the improved model, the enhanced model, rather, can do more than the advanced model.
Yeah.
And that's because we tested
so a Kevlar diaper does better than freeballing it in surviving a blast.
Okay, but like, no, but you know what I'm saying? Like, as
I get what you're saying, and it sucked to wear. It really fucking did. It was horrible to wear, and that's why when I kept telling you, I'm like, no, you have to plan half an hour in advance to piss. It's because of all of that.
Well, I mean, let's not get back on that conversation because
we don't need to get back on that. But like I mean, Thomas Waters will tell you about how annoying those things are to get off. There's like 4 buckles, and then there's straps and little hooks.
Right. So, like, at what point is the trade-off
I don't think they were worth it. I really don't.
Well,
but we still
right. And
had to
here's the
wear
thing too, like with the body armor that I had, so the IOTV with the side plates and the two front, or the front and back plate, and all the shit on it because I chose not to use a flick. Is that worth it over being able to move really quick?
I'd honestly rather take the movement because at this point,
depends on what you're doing though. Depends on what you're doing.
Getting
like,
hurt. Yeah, the only people who are getting hurt are the IEDs, which no matter what you're wearing, if you're close enough, you're dead. Okay, that's just how it works. Or it's the people that are with the that get hit in that very first shot of an ambush, because once that first shot goes off, everyone's down, and
yep.
Then you wait for a helicopter to come in or an MBT to roll up or something, and then they fire a couple things and it's over. That's it.
Right.
So like it was a lot of unnecessarily wearing all of this heavy shit for no reason, because that's just how fighting was done. Now is you wait till you're engaged and then you sit down. You just lay down immediately. You just boom, and then they stop shooting at you.
So I had the same argument. With an NCO, not an argument really, just a conversation in our unit, because this thing's gutted. I took all the pads out and one of the chin strap things broke. I have to revamp my ACH that I had over there. But so we wore these things, the NATE pads, right?
Pads, yeah.
And so my thing was, I could not, for the life of me, shoot prone with that.
No, because it's putting so much more pressure on your neck and pushing your helmet forward.
Well, it's just another thing. And it's like, God, especially with nods. And so I was like, what the fuck purpose did this serve? And he goes, well, all it takes is a piece of a fragment, this big.
Yeah, it's just to protect your spine is all you're doing. It's just protecting your spine.
And I'm like, okay, well, what are the chances of that versus the chances of me having to move really fast and shooting prone?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So it's either that little half-inch of space between your helmet and your collared body armor that a piece of gravel might go through and kill you, versus needing to be able to shoot your rifle effectively. What are the chances of one happening more?
But his point was valid though. Like it's not invalid.
No, I mean it's literally a vulnerability they found and decided this needed to be a thing because it must have been happening enough.
Right.
So I get it, but it's a trade-off. It's kind of like when the Marine Corps, they weren't wearing outer tactical vests in Afghanistan. They didn't. They developed a whole new set of body armor that got rid of the Kevlar. It was just plates. They wore just plates.
Just plate
front, rear, and side plates. That's all they wore. And
because they were mostly mobile infantry moving.
Yeah, and it had gaps between the plates. You would think that, well, now you have gaps between your plates, but they're like, we were getting way more heat casualties and way more stuff than we were losing to those explosions.
Yep. So that's the thing is like, when I was in Iraq, it was like we wear our body armor during the day in fucking late July and August. It was like, dude, I'm pounding water. I'm like, every time I'm done talking, I'm pounding water, and I'm still like pissing iced tea.
Yeah,
right?
Like it's hot. Yeah,
because it just, and I can't move. Like I was literally doing the SpongeBob thing. Like my IOTV, like I walked like my arms were out.
Yeah, because you guys had like the underarm fucking things and the big overarm.
We didn't wear the DAPs. Like we didn't wear the deltoid plates.
Yeah, but like there's a lot of army guys we saw that had like the full on.
But that was for gunners on vehicles.
Yeah,
the deltoid plates. But those were even worse. Like that was like.
Yeah, you have so much shit on that, like you have stuff under your arms and everything that like you're just like this all the time.
Right, and my vest weighed a shitload with nothing on it, right?
Yeah.
And it was
just the Kevlar and the plates, they weigh like 25 pounds or something like that.
No, we had the ESAPs, which were like
heavier. Those are even heavier, yeah.
So I think my vest
40 pounds then for just a vest with the panels.
Well, but that's for a medium or a small. My fucking large vest, I actually weighed it one time, was 63 pounds.
That's a lot.
The soft padding, the plates, the 4 plates and everything. 63 pounds. Okay,
that's a lot.
That's with nothing on it. That's no pouches, no ammo.
You had water, ammo. Yep, all this shit that weighs
where
a lot of the weight comes from.
Yeah, it's like, and so it was nuts. And we're like, well, Jesus, like, it's, I don't know if I had the Gen 1 or Gen 2. I don't really. It was in 2009.
What color was
it? UCP?
Then Gen 1, probably.
Yeah, like they had just, like, we were one of the first units to start deploying with them regularly.
Definitely Gen 1 then.
Yeah, and it did not breathe. It was comfortable when you got it on, but here's the problem that, like, so you had the cummerbund, like the Velcro thing that you put on first.
The elastic,
the waistband.
Band, yeah.
Yep. And then you take your, I just usually unfasten one side to take it off and put it on quicker. Then you'd fasten that, pull the flap up, pop down.
Yep, the classic, and it was Poncho style. Yeah.
Right. It was comfortable for the first few minutes, but, like, I thought the IBA, like the flak jacket, basically.
The jacket, yeah.
I thought that was uncomfortable on your shoulders. Well, the whole point of the IOTV with the cummerbund and all that shit was to get the weight off your shoulders.
Yeah, it's to get it around your core, yeah.
Yeah, no, it didn't work like that.
No, once you put enough weight on it, or once that elastic gives just a little, like when it's not super brand new, it's shit. It's shot. It doesn't do what it's supposed to do. Yeah.
Right, and we took them off and put them on so much it was like it would get worn out, and then it was just like, what the fuck? And I can't move. Like, my back is rigid.
Fair. And the cool thing about the IBA is you could always wear it, like, open and still be, like, mostly covered to get that ventilation. Because it's split down the front,
Yeah, but I was one of those guys, like, you had the option, like, you could wear the flick, the fighting load carrier over your vest. But I was just like, well, that's another piece of shit that I have to put on.
Fair.
Like, I was one of those, I mean, teach their own. Like, some guys like swear by the flick, and some guys are like me, where they're just like, I put everything on my vest.
I really like having, like, the load bearing vest rather than putting everything on the vest, because then when you didn't need to wear your body armor, but you still needed to have access to, like, your crap, you could just throw on the vest without needing to wear your Kevlar.
Right. Yeah. And the thing is, like, I got so sick of, because I wore the flick at first, like, when we were training to go over there, and I realized, I'm like, that's one extra step.
Yeah, it's a ton of extra work for sure. And unless you're going to be in a lot of scenarios where you're not needing to wear your Kevlar all the time, it doesn't make sense.
Right. And so that's why I always put my shit on my vest, because, like, when I put my vest on, I needed all the shit that was on there.
Yep.
And it's like, so it was one less step, big step too. Like, you're putting on another piece of gear, zipping it up, less ventilation.
In an emergency, I don't think people realize, like, how hard it is to. I tell people all the time, like, because you're just like me, you have all those old fat fucks, and they think that they're all sheepdogs and they're going to save the world in the end of the world. I'm like, how fast does it take you to tie your boots in the dark?
Oh yeah.
And, that's a really easy question, because I'm sure you've had to do it before. How easy is it? How long does it take you to tie your boots to a point where you can wear them all day without needing to adjust them again in the dark?
Well, the boots I had, and the way I tied my laces, and the way I had them set up, about 2 minutes for both boots.
Yeah, sounds pretty reasonable. There's a lot of guys that I know that probably couldn't even tie their boots in the dark.
Right, and that's the thing is, like,
save the world and all this other shit. I'm like, you know how easy of a fucking task that is to do? Just tying your goddamn boots correctly in the dark, and you think you're going to do all this other shit? Let alone put all your gear on, keep track of it, know where it is, how much you have, inventory manage on yourself during a firefight, and you can't even tie your boots in the dark.
Well, that's the thing is, like, people go to the channel, like, all the time, like, oh, you're a fat fuck. Well, yes, I got fat when I got out of the military. Yes, I haven't recovered from that.
So did I. Actually. I'm much bigger than I was. So.
And it's like, I like being lazy. I like food, and I get that. I can also still go out and run without stopping. I can still do that today. But it's like, yeah, I mean, I'm not in the military anymore. But I still have those little skills like you're talking about. Like, yeah, I could tie my boots in the dark because I had them set up.
Yeah, and I'm talking like pitch black. Like you can't see fuck all. You need to find your boots and put them on in the dark. You need to know exactly where they are.
Right.
You know?
And it's like, yeah, like this genius said, like for me, finding my boots to the point where they're both tied and like secure.
Yep, and like
2
ready
minutes.
to stand up and walk around and grab the rest of your shit is like 2 minutes. 30 seconds is I'm calling you out on that. That's not a thing.
That's not going to happen.
Unless you're one of those faggots who has side zippers on your boots.
Well, I mean, the Converse boots, I mean, hey.
I mean,
but
well,
yeah,
I shouldn't be saying that because Canada now issues boots with side zips on them.
You had to get authorized from your CO to wear those when we were there because of IEDs. Like they would melt, and there's some more fragments that could hurt you. And one of our guys did, and he ditched those halfway through.
Yeah, the side zip.
Yeah. This guy's a fucking hero. You know, oh, look for your weapon first. Yeah, 30 seconds. Yeah. No, sorry,
That's
dude.
bullshit. That's the thing. Like, I want to make sure my boots are tied first before I'm grabbing my gun. You know why? Because I'm not alone. There's 1,000 other fucking people on this base they have to get through before they get to me.
Well, and also, like, your weapon's going to be near you. Like,
yeah, it's like probably literally sitting 6 inches away from your boots. I know where the gun is.
Yeah, it's so.
So what do you want? What do you want me to do? So he's like, grab your weapon first. Okay, I pick up my weapon. Now I'll set it down and tie my boots. That's wasted time. You're an idiot.
I'm going to go into combat barefoot with unknown terrain.
Because what are you going to do? Literally run out into a war zone with no fucking boots on? You're an idiot.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, okay. Here's my gun. All right, let's put it right back exactly where I found it and put my fucking boots on.
But yeah, little things like that. Like that's why I'm done kind of like doing the whole commenting on the Boogaloo boys and the guys that are.
But you can for all our ballistic tests, Mike, and nobody even commented on it yet.
Oh, I got a lot of comments of like, "Go, your shooting sucked that day," and it was like,
I read that. Yeah.
No, it was hotter than fuck.
Yeah, like, we haven't shot any of those handguns in how long? And
and it was like
I've shot hardly any of those handguns before, and the ones that I have shot, it's been an entire year. None of them were mine.
Yeah.
So
well, I mean, I've shot handguns, but it's like it's still like the heat catches up with you, and it was fucking.
It does. It really does. And by that point, when we did the Spectra, it was the end of the day. It was.
Yep. It was like, yeah, we're roasting, and yep. So. But yeah, it's just funny, like people that think they're gonna save the world. I'm like, well, okay. All right. You do that.
Fair. Of course Thomas liked those pants. He sent me those pants. They're nice. These are the jungle pants. Bam. The sexy new jungle pants. And the best jungle boots ever made, the French ones. Yeah,
that's basically like Converse. Like it's
an up-armored Converse. That's all it is. Yeah.
I wouldn't wear those, to be honest with you. Like I wouldn't, because I need ankle support really bad because I have cankles.
They're better than you think.
But here's the thing: is like my ankles and my wrists. My ankles and my wrists are the weakest point on my body. Okay.
Yeah.
And I have to have boots that I can lace, not like super tight, but like I need ankle support, or my ankles.
Yeah.
Even when I was in shape,
when I bought them, I thought they were going to be just like literal, like cheap canvas, like Converse that you would be wearing. They're surprisingly good.
But they're short. Like I'm taller than you. Like I have.
They also made tall versions that are literally canvas copies of the M43 boots. They have the like gator that wraps around.
No, that's fine. Like that'd probably be better. But like I need
get a pair. They're super cool.
I need fucking like extreme ankle support if I'm actually doing that kind of shit. Like
I think you would really like them if you got a pair. I honestly think you would. They're so nice.
Okay.
They're so nice.
Right.
I mean, here's the thing. I'm like you. The American jungle boots are awesome. But these things are so much nicer and so much more breathable and so much German, more flexible.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, you're correct. But like the German Baltis jungle boots.
I haven't ever tried those, but I hear awesome things about them.
Those are. I just wish they made a wide, because like all the ones I've gotten, they're just regular width.
Yeah.
And I have like big, fat, wide feet. And those are pretty fucking nice.
I mean, I wear a size 42, and that's kind of a harder size to find in those. But I've looked for them. Just
Right,
like the Austrian tropical boots. I've been looking for a pair of the Austrian tropical boots for a long time and haven't been able to find a pair.
Well, hopefully. But yeah, my favorite actual boots, to be honest with you, like if the shit hit the fan, the boots that I'd be wearing are the fucking 90s speed lace US boots.
I'm almost the same way. The Canadian Mark IIIs, which are almost the same thing.
Yep, and it's like they're all leather. I get that. I know how leather works. There's no vents on them, which also means
Canadian Mark IIIs. They're just you grab the laces and you just and tie them and you're set.
And they're fucking low profile. They're snug.
Yep. Once they're like broke in and fit to you, they're like bam.
It's like wearing heavier tennis shoes.
Exactly. They're fantastic.
Yep.
Well, Alexi apparently is going to find me a new pair of the Austrian tropical boots.
By the way, Alexi, that thing you made earlier was fucking awesome. The meme.
Yeah, the specters.
Oh god damn, that was. I'm trying to figure out a way like to post that without getting a copyright strike. I don't know how long I had to like go and like time the music and all that shit, but like that was fucking hilarious.
It was awesome.
I was sitting in the garage shipping things this morning before I started sorting things, and I was like, I watched it. I'm like, well, if Alexi made it, it's probably not trash.
Yeah.
So I hit play.
He does some pretty top notch stuff.
Well, I mean, when you're in Austria, you have nothing better to do because your life is so fucking good. You know, let's be honest.
I mean, to be fair, that's probably not far off. Yeah.
No, but no, I was literally like laughing out in the garage. I'm like,
I was like, too.
Oh
he
god,
sent it to me, and I'm watching it in my work truck, waiting for the computer to do stuff. And I watched it the first time without sound, and I was like, And then I turned the sound on, and I nearly lost it in the truck too. Yes.
Oh god, it's great. So, it's fucking hilarious. Yeah.
It's perfect. Good.
Because that was the 45. You were shooting the 2 world wars at it, right?
That was the 1911. Yeah. Bam. The gun with the most ammo capacity.
God. Yeah, somebody commented today. They're like, "Did you have you ever done a Polish WZ-67 75 test?" And I'm like, "Soon."
Yeah.
Because we did. I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna make you wait for it.
Oh, now it's gonna be the last one. What's the next one we're gonna do? Is that, or can we not say?
The next one I want to post. Let's see, because I've got them all uploaded.
What's the next one in the sequence?
Probably the CG634.
Ooh, okay, that's a good one. I have that. It's sitting somewhere. Where did I put it? I cleaned in here recently.
The 32 slug's still in there, right?
Yeah. Well, I was shaking it, and like you could hear very clearly what is a bullet just in there, just bouncing around.
Well, because it was stuck in there, and then we hit the same spot, and it kind of like
loosened it up. But like you could shake it and very clearly hear it inside there. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a good test. I like that. I was
surprised by it. I feel very safe now.
I did that mainly for you.
Yeah. I feel very safe.
Yeah, it's
well. It did. It stopped everything, didn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
It even did 39, so that's good.
Well, it didn't do 39.
I mean, the deformation was heinous, but
no, it punched right through. Remember?
Did it?
Yeah, like, it punched right through.
Fair. Whatever.
I
have to look at the helmet again.
You could see from when I hit it, like 50 or whatever the fuck yards back. You could see the, and we're like, oh. I mean, it's not a bad thing. It's not saying anything against the helmet.
For something that's what it's made out of.
Right.
That's more than reasonable.
Well, that's why the ECH, like,
that blew
I've never seen a helmet do that.
Yeah.
Never seen a helmet. And it's like, that was why it was so fucking cool. And like, so, okay, we're on, Gen 1, Gen 2. Is Gen 3 like ACHs and shit that's made in like the 2000s to the early 2010s, or
So
what?
the Gen 1s are like 80 to 85. Okay. The Gen 2s are usually like 85 to 90. Okay. Then the Gen 3s are like all of the 90s. And the Gen 4s are like the 2000 teens. So we don't see a lot of helmet development after the 90s. Pretty much everything's stagnated. So there's
Right,
like
just
a
different
20-year
shapes,
period. Yeah.
different shapes, but like the same materials.
Yeah, so there's like a 20-year period where it's all basically just Gen 2s and Gen 3 helmets. And then now we're seeing the Gen 4s finally
Like
creep
the
into
ECH.
existence. Yeah. And
Yeah.
the British, Virtus helmet, which is an
Yep.
ECH, but
It's
and the
it's
Canadian
well,
735, which
it's not
is
an
an
ECH.
ECH. And
It's not an ECH. It's honest to God the CG634 shell made out of
it's not
the
actually. It's an ACH shell with a CG634 liner.
look. No, it's not.
Do I
Look at it.
gotta post a picture of it?
Yeah,
The CG735.
the Virtus helmet, the British standard issue, has a visor on it. I had a bunch of British people show me this. It's a 634 style shell made out of the ultra high molecular polyethylene, whatever the fuck.
Yeah, but they're made by Revision, and they're all. I want to find
But
one.
I'm saying the shape is a CG634 shell. Kind of. It's a little bit different. It's still got a visor on it, but it's like it's not an ECH like an ACH style profile.
I thought it was pretty close because it's the Revision Battleskin Cobra.
Yep. But
And
look, it's not quite an ECH.
So there is the Revision Battleskin Cobra.
It's really blurry.
It's an ACH, but it has that mount on it, the night vision shroud mount. That's all that
Yeah.
bill is. It's not. It's literally an ACH. That shroud is all that bill that you're seeing. It's literally an ECH, but it has that weird like ratchety thing in the back. But it's literally just like the Canadian CG735, which I think is actually the same model of helmet, just with a different chin strap. And that all that is it's that shroud, because that shroud is really long like that because you also mount that fucking mandible thing to the shroud.
So I'm gonna send you something on Facebook really quick. That is not an ECH profile.
It's similar enough.
That's got a lot of... So how about this? Let's meet in the middle. It's a CG634 and a ACH or ECH had a baby, because it's not quite either one of them.
I'll tell you what, it's not. It doesn't have that like smashed look like the American ECH and ACH have. It's that Canadian CG634, like very round, like egg shape on top.
Right,
it's not
and
as
even
flat on top as the American.
even the ear flare is like
the very tapered out flare. Yeah, is a very
like the
very,
634.
Yeah.
So
but it just has none of that little lip on the back, and it's not as high cut in the back as the CG634 is. But
right, so we'll say it's a combination.
Sounds fair. But yeah, that little lip and that bill is just that because they wanted the ability to mount that big ballistic fucking mandible thing on it.
Yeah, which is.
And I'd love
fine,
to get a Cobra. I'd sell my nice ECH for money to go towards a Cobra. So. Well, the IHPS also sucks. So it's worse than the ECHs because money.
Right, for sure.
You read about that, Mike? How like they went from having the ECH, so which was awesome. We tested one, the Gen 1 ECH. Fantastic helmet. The government's like, no. We're gonna try to make them a little cheaper, cut a bunch of shit off of them, have a bunch of weird shit put on the sides like the French did with the the F3 because we're not original, and then fuck it entirely.
I did not hear about that. To answer Alexi's shit, yes, I do have a where the fuck? There it is. I knew I saw it.
I have one of the drawstring covers. I don't have one of those.
Okay, well, I'll get some in the next order that I do, like the big order. Because yeah, I put this on the Spectra, and it was like that's what I did that Austrian video on, or not Austrian video, but like I was wearing Austrian stuff.
Yeah, I don't have one of the ones that have like the rubber band on them, but I have one of the Special Forces drawstring ones.
Yeah, so this is my F2 that I kept, and
you're missing the rubber rim on yours, but
really, it was never made with a rim.
All the F2s came with a rubber rim.
Yeah, I can literally pull this up in conversation. You said the early ones did not have that. They were a raw edge.
Fair. The later ones, well, they had plastic shit on the end of them.
But. This was made in 2000. Okay.
Yeah, that one would have just the plastic then. It wouldn't have the rubber.
Well, I've never seen an F2 with the fucking rims on it until the later ones.
It's still
good. You literally, I'll pull up the conversation, dude. If you want,
because
we can
they started making the covers that have the rubber rims on them, so they stopped putting them on the helmets. But they had like what the Americans had. They put the like plastic on the bottom.
Americans have rubber. It's hard rubber, but it's rubber.
Well, you know what I mean, like that stuff.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, this is an early one. It never had it. Otherwise, it would not have this wear on it. Like it's the one we shot did not ever have a fucking rim on it. You said the earlier ones didn't.
Yeah, all the earlier ones had the rubber rim. The later ones didn't. Because they started putting the rubber rims on the helmet covers, so you don't need them.
Well, they had the rubber rims on the helmet covers for the fucking F1.
I know, but they didn't for the beginning of the F2 because they thought it was too expensive.
Okay, well, this has never had a fucking rubber rim on it. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah, because it's one of the later ones. I thought yours was one of the earlier ones.
It's 2000.
Yeah, it's one of the later ones.
Okay. Because yeah, here's the fucking F2 cover I have for it. It's got the rubber rim. Yep.
Yeah.
But also the F1 covers all had the rubber rim on them. So.
Yeah, I know. Well, that was because they were steel and they would chip and shit. And you could mar up the edges and stuff. And then they were just going to go back to like kind of like how the Germans did it. They were going to use a drawstring. And I actually have an F2 cover that is just a drawstring. And the earlier ones, you see like 94 to 98 will have the rubber rims. And the later ones.
I still love this thing.
The Schubert.
Made in Spain.
It's a Spanish Schubert.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
Yep, and it's my size. It's the fucking 58 to 60.
Well, it's probably worth like 2 small fortunes because it's a Spanish one. Some guy that loves Spain would probably pay you like 2 sexual favors for that helmet.
Not for sale. But yeah, I noticed I have it stuffed in here. The check cover, the fucking white Teflektarn. Oh, I thought I had the desert one, but like, yeah, I've got a couple covers stashed in there. Yeah, let's go out and shoot it. Yeah,
let's go.
I actually got this one at an auction. They advertised it totally wrong, and I did not pay that much. I think I paid like $80 for this thing. So but yeah, it's like mint unissued in my size.
I mean, if you would have just asked me who made that, I would have been like, it's a German. But to be fair, like all the Schuberts look damn near identical. So
yep, February of '93, this fucker was made.
That's pretty nice. I didn't even know Spain used the Schubert.
Well, no, Induico. That's they contracted with Spain. No, they didn't. They made them for them, the early ones.
Yeah.
but like I don't think Spain uses them, but they made them. They also make those French CCE fleece pullovers that I have.
Really?
Yeah. Spain makes a lot of shit for European, or made a lot of shit. I don't know currently.
Well, I mean, the Ruby's a thing, and all those
Right,
other
but
guns
like,
are a thing.
I mean, yeah, it's Induico.
So they have they have the ability to make Schubert helmets. Like they have the rights to do that.
Yep. Well, they did. I don't know about now, but yeah, it's the early ones were made by them, and then they started making them in Germany.
That's awesome. I didn't know that.
What are you doing? Let's go potty. The Whiskerbeak weasel horse fucking thing is here.
Oh, Michael Mitchell's asking you, why didn't the U.S. just use drawstrings for their Kevlar helmet covers?
I don't know.
Why'd they use all those fucked up straps?
The Velcro straps? I don't know.
Because I always thought those were dumb as shit too.
Yeah, it's a pain in the dick. It really is. It's not good.
But I mean, it's also the American government. So like,
it makes sense. You're doing it wrong.
That's right. That's right.
No, I have no fucking clue. I'm gonna pee and let the weasel horse out.
All right, I'll hold down the fort.
Often I come across mask. All Russian shit is extremely hard to get. It's regulated,
especially after like 2016 when the import ban like re-happened on like everything. They're near impossible to find.
All the Russian helmets that I have, I got individually. Like I purchased them as a collector's piece.
And you have to do like kind of some shady stuff to find them usually.
Yeah, and it takes forever and blah blah blah. But like there's a reason Russian shit isn't more on the market and it's harder to find. So
yeah,
I'll be back.
Import problems.
All right, credit cards.
Do they hate the grunt, or do they just not understand the grunt? I mean, I have a mint size 2 6B47 for sale with the digital floor cover for it. If somebody wants it, it's not going to be cheap though. Yes, there was a time when Russian shit was available. It was called the early 2000 teens when we were on fairly good terms with Russia. You could get Russian stuff. Money, $400 plus shipping. I'll send it anywhere in the United States. I'm keeping the goggles and the flashlight mount that's on it, but you get everything else with it. It's all yours. So I even have the winter cover for it too, the Snow White cover. So it comes with the Snow White cover and the digital flora cover. You'd get that plus a mint 6B47 in size 2. I could get it if somebody wants to see it. I'll grab it. I'll grab it. The RCB. Take a look at that beast. I'm keeping the goggles and the light mount and stuff, but everything else is your guys's. Well, here's the thing: exporting it to Canada would cost more. Exporting it from Canada would cost more than just buying one here, and take forever. AK-103. Who wants one of those shits when you could get an AK-107? Just saying. I like flags. I got another one for my birthday actually, and if I can get my camera to cooperate with me. It's that one right there. I got that for my birthmas yesterday. Aldman sent me that. Which is a very thoughtful present, I thought anyway. Because it's not an AR, Alexi, that's why. AK-107. That's my shit right there. I would love to own one, but I never will. I never will. Ever. I got one. I have a bag of L1A1 under my bed. No, you can't, Michael Mitchell. No, you can't. Nice try, but I'm calling your bluff like every other time you open your mouth. Calling it. So, Mass 36 for life. I mean, I wish I had one. I really do, because I like the Mass 36. Yes, I have a bag of L1A1. It is a hybrid Canadian, British, and Australian parts kit sitting under my bed that I just got to get a receiver for and throw it together. So, I mean, to be fair, who needs an AK when you have an Enfield? By the way, Alexi, did your clips ever show up yet? What do you want to know about the scope? I know Arsenal's not in Russia, Michael. I'm not retarded. I know. And no, you can't find one. Well, I said it about not too long ago, but it's probably on the US's, and the US post is absolutely fucked right now. But hopefully you get it soon. Hopefully. I wish. I just have the regular old walnut laminate. Well, you just like teleported back. You must have like cut out because you were not there, and then suddenly you were in your chair putting your headset back on.
Excellent.
So, Michael Mitchell was saying we could just go to Arsenal and buy AK-107s just anywhere. A brand new fucking super hyper developed AK with a counter recoil system. He's like, yeah, they're there. And I called him on it. I was like, no, you can't.
He's a fucking troll, and it's like, come on. Like, then go do it and make a fucking video on it. Then start your own fucking channel, which you already have, with your little picture of your whatever, bearded wonder. If that's you, that's not good, but like it's probably not you.
I mean, at least he can grow facial hair. I mean,
then go get one. Yeah.
Go get one of the like 200 AK-107s in existence and get one.
Yeah. Do it.
Will I ever get a machine gun? No, they're kind of overrated.
Yeah, if they were like a little bit more expensive than regular guns, I would. But like, nah.
For shooting, like I like to, like as a hobby and occasionally for hunting, I don't need a machine gun. Ammo is too expensive and too worthless for that shit. I don't need that. It would literally be money I would spend to have that sit around to be like, isn't this neat? Which I don't want to spend money on that.
Right.
So,
I mean, like full auto, like
it makes sense if you're using a belt-fed machine gun in a war zone. Other than that, no.
Or like when I was a 240 gunner, that was fun.
Yeah.
But it's like if I were to buy a 240 for $60,000 and then had to feed it, yeah, I'd have to have like fuck you money. Like I'd have to be like a Dogecoin billionaire, actually.
I mean, you're fairly close, aren't you?
Not yet.
Not yet. Getting there.
Getting there.
I wish.
Yeah, it's just fucking.
But we rate awesomeness in the amount of Wurndles you own. So I mean.
Hey, Michael Mitchell, how about this in the comments? Like realistically, just answer. How old are you?
12. 12 and a half. 13.
I give him 15.
Wait, are we rating age in like actual age or IQ?
Actual age.
Ooh. Yeah, 15 tops. Easily. 69. He's 44. Man, you need to. You passed high school, right? Because if you did, I'd go to your high school and give your diploma back.
Yeah, I'm gonna punch whoever fucking wrote out the diploma. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't deserve it. I'm sorry, but.
So here's the thing. Exactly. I bet his Airsoft 107 is kick ass, though. Yep.
I mean, is there a company that makes an Airsoft 107?
I'm sure.
I mean, that'd be sweet.
if Tokyo Marui is still around, like they would fucking make it.
Aren't they? I think they're just owned by China now. About average for what? Americans?
So yeah, Michael Mitchell's not going to answer that. He doesn't want to. Oh, don't give me the honest answer. Don't give him a troll answer.
Let me just, Michael, what state are you from? I'm
West
about
Virginia?
to roast whatever state's public education system educated you and how they definitely need to be defunded. I bet it's East Coast or South. Damn near guaranteed. Is there an airsoft Halbergal? God, I'll be really disappointed if there's an airsoft Halbergal.
Well, you gotta ask his social next. Yeah, we're fucking.
No, we're not going to ask his social. Whitmer's not a fucking state, Michael Mitchell.
No, he's from Michigan then.
Oh, that explains a lot.
Okay.
That does actually kind of explain
that sucks.
a lot.
That's bordering my state. Jesus Christ.
Well, I mean,
it's not good.
No, but
so earlier in the comments, somebody asked me to retell the shit story that I had.
The shit story? I don't know if I've heard this one.
You have. I told you it last time. Well,
I think I've heard the short version of it, though.
Yeah, you haven't heard it in detail. I'll tell you the details if we start getting some super chats rolling in. Yes, I'm e-begging for sure.
I won't e-beg you for money, but if you want to give me a belated birthday present, my PayPal's definitely open.
Fuck your fucking birthday. Fuck your fucking PayPal.
Hey, all I got was a flag.
Okay. So Golden HQ.
Here. Of course, Golden puts his wallet where he's
but Golden. See, you wasted that super chat. Like, now you got to actually specify, like, what you want me to tell. And
he's saying it's for beer. Which I think is very inconsiderate of him.
So Michael Mitchell's from Michigan.
He damn well knows that you're gluten-free.
Yeah, and I've tried the gluten-free beers, and it's just they're so fucking bad.
You could have Corona. That's gluten-free.
No, it's not.
There's one version that is, because I have a friend who has celiacs, and that's all she drinks is Corona.
So, the fuck does your name mean in Arabic? Like, I used to be able to read that shit. I can't do it anymore. Like, stop. Hey, quit. Just because somebody's got an Arabic fucking.
There's nothing wrong with being Islamic. A lot of Islamic people are actually really nice. They're a lot nicer than a lot of the Christians I know.
Yeah, well, that's very true, and they have a lot better food.
They have fuck tons better food than the Christians do.
So much better food. They're fucking It's so. Please tell the poo story. I will. I just want to know really quick, like what. I just want to know, like, what your YouTube. I really wish I would have kept on with that Arabic shit, but I came back and I was like, oh, fuck it, I'm done. Never again.
Do you have one of those cool things like I do? I don't think it works in this program, but I can normally right-click on it.
Well, right-click to Google Translate. I don't
translate to English, and it'll automatically do it to me.
Well, and do it. If I click on it, something's going to happen. So
it's just his name. It's Muhammad Arif. Yeah.
Well, that's another guy just saying whatever.
Yeah, but I just translated it. Yeah, and it worked.
Muhammad Arif.
Yep.
Arif means sergeant.
Sergeant Muhammad. How many of those are there in the Middle East?
A lot. Muhammad is basically the Arabic version of Michael.
Yeah. So a lot.
Okay. So. Okay, cool. So Muhammad Arif.
Put Poop
You're
story.
not even gonna go with like Muhammad Jundi Awal. Like you're not gonna be cool and like go lower enlisted. Jesus.
You know what's wrong with being a lower enlisted? Both me and you are lower enlisted.
Well, Naib Arif is like a private first class, so that's what I was. So.
Oh. Do they have a thing for Master Corporal?
No, because Master Corporal is a made up fucking rank. The Canadians are like, well, we're gonna make you think you're important, but you're fucking not. You have a maple leaf above your rank, but nobody gives a fuck because you're a retard.
I mean, you're not that far off, to be honest.
Correct. It's the same as specialist versus
it's
corporal.
Literally a bullshit rank just because the sergeant doesn't want to talk to more than one person. The sergeant or like the lieutenant doesn't want to talk to more than one person.
Hey, Cody, go lay down.
Rank exists.
Go lay down.
So it's literally just a corporal in charge of other corporals. It's a corporal with more paperwork, is all it is.
Oh, Patty McGill, yeah, fucking want to troll.
I mean, that's not true. German food is good.
It's all good. Like if you ever been outside of your fucking, tri-county area and experienced food in other countries, most of the other world's food is better than American food.
See, Alexi's heard of Master Corporal.
Right.
So I don't know how to pronounce that, but apparently it's a NATO thing.
So Michael Mitchell, when you answer how old you are and be honest about it, I'll tell the poop story.
He said 44. I don't think he's a troll. I think he's just genuinely that dense.
He literally said 44?
Yeah, way back. I think he's just genuinely that dense.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did.
I'm looking.
Yeah, right there. Michael Mitchell, 7:38 p.m., 44.
Okay, well, that does make some sense. You're one of the forgotten generation. Why the fuck are you giving your birth date out? Like, what the fuck, man?
Like, he's just that dense.
Well, then, Patty, you need to get the fuck out of your tri-county area.
Hot dogs and hamburgers are literal dog shit compared to the food in the Middle East. Literal dog shit. And I really enjoy hot dogs and hamburgers.
And if you want to continue the troll, like, it's not going to end well. But, like, it's...
But, I mean...
I didn't claim Arabic food was better.
Your name's literally Paddy McGill. You're from Ireland. You eat fucking meat that's been boiled and fucking potatoes. You might as well eat the dirt the shit grows in. Don't you talk to me about good food.
Yeah, Southern barbecue is also a culmination of what? Foreign fucking cultures.
Yeah.
Amalgamating it. Like,
it's actually a ton of like African and Middle Eastern stuff, because guess where all the fucking slaves came from?
And it's good. Southern barbecue is fantastic. But as Americans, we don't really have much original, like, American food. So boiled potatoes is awesome. Okay, we know what we're dealing with at this point.
I think he means are awesome.
Yeah. Frankfurter, because I read it. It's German. No, it's not. Their version of the Frankfurter is a lot more refined than the U.S. Fucking every scrap gets biscuits and gravy. Fantastic.
Biscuits and gravy. It might be the best American food, actually.
The best American breakfast. Biscuits and gravy, scrambled fucking eggs, or eggs however you want them, and fucking sausage and bacon.
Bam. Yeah, that's pretty hard to beat. That might be the best American food.
And yeah, alligator meat. Were you the one that was asking on Wednesday? Like, I was so out of it. I was so... Man, I got sunburned like a motherfucker. Yeah, I had heat exhaustion.
Real rough heat exhaustion, yeah.
But alligator meat tastes like...
I think it's one of them things where it tastes kind of like where it lives. You get a hint of where it lives type of thing.
It tastes like a more fishy chicken, but more chewy. but not like a bad chewy, just like a more like a lobster chewy.
Yeah, it's like a chicken that you left out in the sun for a day and you dipped it in fetid swamp water and then cooked it.
But it's not like bad. It's actually pretty fucking good.
By no means am I saying it's bad, but it definitely kind of tastes like what it eats and where it lives.
Chicken fried steak with gravy and fucking hash browns and eggs.
And biscuits. Oh man.
If I could eat that still, it wouldn't be a problem at any diner. That's my go-to, chicken fried steak for breakfast. Like, I mean, that's good. Okay, so bluegills. Well, I mean, for people that like freshwater fish, panfish,
I mean, I love panfish. Panfish is pretty hard to beat.
I don't do freshwater fish that much. Like,
but I don't do freshwater fish caught in the spring or summer when the water has all the gunk in it. You know,
yeah, but like ice fishing, yeah, it
tastes better when they're caught. Yeah, in the winter.
Yeah, which I've done, and like I'll eat it. It's not like I'm a fucking.
It's not a very flavorful fish, that's for sure.
I pay for Poop Store. Okay.
I mean, he did.
So it is 2011. It is October.
No, it's 2021.
I'm getting into a story here, penis. So, are you deathly allergic? I get really sick. Like I get intestinal cramps, like painful for at least 5 days. I feel like shit. I have no energy.
Are you sure you're not just having your period?
No, he's asking about celiac. Like I've tried this. Like again, I've said this. I don't know if you were here, but the last time when Devon and me and Václav, the guy from Czech Republic, were
Mike had one fry.
No, I had a whole thing of I had one fry and my mouth started to blister, and I'm like, well, this is gonna happen, so I might as well just eat the rest of them. And I paid for that for almost a week.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
And that was just from the
like I was telling you, like there's a 50-50 chance.
Yep, and I know that. Like, yep.
What fryer they made the fries in, yeah.
And so I rolled the dice, and I was like, fuck. But yeah, it's not good. Like, it's not just me being like, oh, I'm gluten free because I'm a hamster. It's like I'm not choosing to be. I have to be. It's not. If I ate a sandwich with regular bread, it's not worth the fucking 5 to 7 days that I pay for it dearly.
Pain, yeah.
So, all right. So I'll get into this. So it's 2011. It is October. I don't remember the exact date. The night before, we had drank a stupid amount, of course, but like we had drank, I think, yeah, that was that. But we were drinking Boxer, that shit I told you about, that comes in a case of 36.
Oh,
for $10.
Ooh, the bonus cans, yeah.
Yeah, it's not good, but you know, the first time I was like, I'll never drink this again, and then we drank it like 3 or 4 more times. I think this is the 3rd or 4th time that I drank that. So we were like, yeah, it's Oktoberfest tomorrow. Local, the town we were living in was having a tent party in the back parking lot, and it was going to be cool. Like they were going to make homemade sausages, grill them on site, homemade sauerkraut, you know, just the whole 9 yards, like just good stuff. And this place also made their own beer. They had a license and everything. They had a master brewer that made special beer, Oktoberfest Märzen, which is my favorite. If I still could drink beer, that is my favorite style of beer. It's sweet. It's a little bit bitter.
Do they sell something like that around here? What's the closest thing we can get?
Yeah, I'll tell you about that in a bit. Which it's seasonal though, like they import it from Germany. But yeah, so just write that down, and then I'll tell you, you know, after this. So it's like, okay, we're gonna go to this. So we proceeded on the night before to get completely fucking wrecked. I mean, just destroyed. And it was fun, but we were like stupid. And so
how destroyed are we talking? Like, let's invade Poland destroyed, or like wake up in pain the next day?
We can't walk to invade Poland. We'd stumble crossing the border and fall down.
Wake up in a ditch in pain type of destroy.
Yeah. But like, so we got destroyed, and it was like, it didn't start out like that, but it ended up like that. So the next day we're paying for it. And it's still fairly warm, but it's not like, it's like October weather, like great October weather, where it's like 65 in the day.
Yeah, it's like jeans and t-shirt weather.
Yeah, yep. But it's still like, it's a little bit warm. And we're like, oh, fuck, I don't know if we can do this. And they're like, well, the Oktoberfest is starting at noon. Okay. Well, so we sat there and pounded water. We went to, I'm pretty sure we went to this place called Pete's Pizza, which I don't know if they're still open. I hope they are. But it was a buffet with like the shittiest food possible you can imagine.
Those are the best buffets, though.
Oh yeah, it was like $8 and like it's all you can eat. Just fucking go there. And they also have pizza, which was actually pretty decent. But their pizza was in the buffet. So anyway, we go there and we're like, oh fuck, we can't do this. And then about noon rolls around and we're like, well, they're opening, but yeah, we're getting better. And so we're drinking water, whatever. And about 2 p.m. we're like, it's time. Like, let's go out, like we're good. And so we go out, we go downtown, and there's the tent set up. There's a few people there. And so we went to our fun bar, and they had a patio on top of their fucking bar,
Yeah.
And so we got some drinks. We went up there, we started drinking, and then we're having fun. And, we're about 6 to 8 drinks in. And it's like, okay, let's go down and take a piss. People are starting to pour in though at this point. Like
people are rolling.
Oh yeah, people are pouring
now that it's like acceptable to drink because it's like early afternoon. And
right, and so I kind of feel my gut starting to, I've been farting a lot. I've been just like not. They're like if you smelled it, you'd be like, oh, that's warm. Like that's.
You're feeling like the sour tummy starting to happen.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, so we go down and we're gonna go take a piss. And so we're standing in line. There's a huge line down at our normal bar. And I'm like, okay, this is fine. All of a sudden, I'm like,
it all hits you. Yeah, you have that one gas bubble that's like find a bathroom.
I start sweating indoors. Like I'm like, it's October and it's like cold and like good, and I'm sweating and I'm like, and my buddy looks at me. He goes,
"You okay?
Are you okay, man?" Yeah. And I'm like, I have to shit and I have to shit now. And there's like 10 people in front of me. Like, I don't know if I can do this. And so my buddy is like, are you going to shit? Like, we can yell an emergency. I'm like, no, I can hold it. Well, about 4 more people go. So there's like 6 people in front of me. And I'm like, it's at the gates of hell right now. And it's just, but I'm also farting, kind of like, I'm like, well, this is probably a fart.
You're relieving a little pressure, buying some time.
But here's the thing is, it goes by, and there's like 4 people in front of me or whatever, 6 people in front of me, 4 people. And all of a sudden I'm like, well, this feels like a really big fart. And this is going to be great.
You trusted it, didn't you?
I'm also wearing khaki pants.
Ooh.
And
I mean, in khakis, I'd pay to see that.
I literally yeah, I used to know a lot. And so we're sitting there and I have the drink in my hand and the stairs are right behind us. That's like kind of whatever. And all of a sudden I just kind of relax and it fucking happens. Like I'm like, and it was all fucking just shit. And I pinched it off. I'm like, oh, I put my drink on the stairs. And I looked at my friend and I'm like, and he goes, what?
Oh, he choked. Yeah. Oh God.
And I'm like, he goes, oh fuck. And he's like trying to pull it together, like to not make a scene. Yeah. He's just like looking at the stairs. And all of a sudden it starts spreading in the line. Like you could tell people are like, yeah. Oh my God. Fuck shit their pants. And I'm like, I'm not gonna say it. And then I'm like, okay. Fuck it. I can feel it. It's like it's not good. Like my underwear is they're fucked.
They're full. Like full. Yeah.
But it's not moving, and I'm like, okay. So the fucking door opens and I rush in front of everybody. And I'm like, I push the guy that's going into there. I'm like, this is a fucking emergency. And then all of a sudden, like as I'm closing the door, I hear the people going, "Oh God, some fucking shit! What the fuck's going on? What the? Oh God!" They're like, they're coughing and stuff. And
Yeah.
I locked the door, which was there's a urinal in there and there's a shitter, which like everybody was using both of them. I locked the door. I'm like, nope, I just have to be
This has
alone.
got to happen. Yeah. I
And
gotta
so
let this dumpster fire burn down.
right, and so I sat down, and I was almost done before my ass hit the seat. Like it was that just
Explosive.
explosion.
All that pressure just built. It's like a cannon going off.
And I'm still sweating. I got like the cold sweats going on.
Oh yeah, I've been there before too. Where like you're getting to the
Oh,
bathroom and you're like, you could almost feel yourself in like the handicap stalls making finger imprints in
like
like
white knuckling it. It's
Yeah.
white knuckle. Yeah, it's like white knuckle diarrhea, but I didn't have anything to hold on to. But like I was sitting there, I'm just like, ah, fuck, and it's like just spraying. And all of a sudden, I look down at my underwear, and there is a solid, like it held it, thank God.
Yeah.
But it's a solid, like helping of shit.
Ooh.
Just sitting there, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh fuck. So as I'm shitting my brains out, I kick my
You're
pants
like
off.
trying to clean out your underwear. Yeah.
Right, so I kicked my pants off, and I'm like, oh God, please, and like nothing was on my pants.
Oh,
So
so
I
you
threw
can just like throw the underwear away. Yep.
yeah,
And
I
just
threw those to the
grab
side,
the
and I'm like, I got done, and it's just like, like it's like a fucking old engine you fire up, and like 3 out of the 6 cylinders are firing, but like
yeah.
it's not good, but like so I'm sitting there, I painted the fucking whole toilet bowl. It was
Yep.
fucked.
Yep.
And it's
Punish
oh
that
the
porcelain.
smell was so bad. It was like I'm sitting there going,
Oh, gassing yourself out? Yeah.
and I'm like 6 drinks in. Like I'm like 6 strong drinks in, and I'm still going, oh God. And so I'm like, oh fuck. So I take my underwear off, and I put them on the floor in front of me. And I'm just like, this just doesn't end. It's like a fucking shit of death where it just doesn't stop. And there's people pounding on the door at this point, right? And then I could hear my buddy going, "Hey man, he's got a problem. Just like just give it a couple more. What the fuck? I gotta piss." And he's like, I could hear him out there like muffled.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh fuck, what am I gonna do? So after a copious amount of paperwork,
Ooh.
I get my ass cleaned up, and like because there was some shit from the
all around.
yeah. So I threw it in there, and I flushed, and it barely went down. It was like one of those Flushtron 3000s. It's like it's got suction, and it went.
It like gurgled a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, that's impressive.
Ooh.
And so I'm sitting there pantsless in this thing, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, and I look at my underwear. I'm like, yep. So I threw them in the garbage can. A bunch of paper towels I just got out.
And like pushed them way down to the bottom. Yeah.
But the smell, I was like, oh fuck, people are gonna gag. Like this is not good. So I was like, well, how do I mitigate that? Well, you can't. Like you can't win every fucking battle. And so I went and I sat back down, because when I stood up, I'm like, well, I missed a few spots. So I went and I sat down and cleaned up as best I could, right? And so now I'm freeballing it, because thank Christ my pants, that was a miracle. My pants didn't get any soak through or anything.
You're really lucky.
Yeah, I'm freeballing. I filled the toilet bowl, by the way. Like it was above the water. Like there was barely any water showing. It was like almost a devil's pancake, but not really.
Ooh.
It's like, so that's when I flushed, like it was just, and so yeah, and so I got that done, and I put my pants back on. I'm sitting there, like I stopped sweating a bit. I'm like, okay, I think this is over. And I like splashed some cold water on my face, like literally, because I'm like, Jesus Christ. And I mean, it sounds like a lot longer than what it was, but it was maybe about 5 full minutes.
That's a long time when you're like, I don't know if I'm gonna live.
Right.
If I'm never gonna leave this bathroom again.
Right. And so I get out, or I mean, I wash my hands, and the pants are pulled up, and I'm trying to cover I put soap on a fucking paper towel, and then I put it in the garbage can below it, because I'm like, well, maybe that'll help
To try to mask the smell. No,
yeah.
it doesn't do anything.
And And so I opened the door and people were like, what the fuck, man? I'm like, I had a fucking incident. Like, just deal with it. Go ahead. They walk in there and I can hear him go, ah, oh, what the fuck did you do? And I'm like, okay. And so my friend
I told you
is,
there's an incident. Yeah.
so I'm standing out there and I'm listening to this, and my friend is in pissing in the other bathroom. And he comes out and I grab my drink, which was dumb, but like I grabbed my drink from the stairs. I don't think anybody saw it. Nobody stepped on it, which was impressive. And he looks at me and he's like, let's go upstairs. Let's just go. And I'm like, okay. So we go upstairs. He's like, what the fuck happened? I'm like, I literally just shit myself. Big.
Ooh.
And he goes, I was going to say that's not a fart because it was just sitting there. And I'm like, yeah, it didn't go away. Like I shit myself.
Ooh.
It's like, and he's like laughing so hard. Like
Yeah.
he's
like, I would be genuinely impressed. Like, as your friend, I'd be like, not only did you get away with shitting yourself, your pants are fine. Like, I'd be like,
well, yeah, the pants, yeah,
that being alive. Yeah,
dude, we proceeded to have a fucking awesome night that night. It
exactly.
was fucking
I'd be
great.
like, that's you need to go buy a lottery ticket this second. Is like what
I should have,
Yeah.
but I was too busy spending
you would
money
have
on
won like
fucking liquor.
$1 billion Venezuelan bolivar.
Right. Yeah, it was that was one of the most epic times I shit my pants.
I mean, that's a pretty good one because it's not like super embarrassing one because you got away with it. I'd say
I never saw it. I'm pretty sure I never saw any of those people again because like the ones that were gagging and like, you know, there's sitting in line.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I mean, you expect that to an extent when the door opens, but like you don't expect that like just standing in line.
That like guttural, yeah.
Oh, it was not good. Like it was something you smell. You're like, this is. I don't want to make the comparison.
I mean, I'm genuinely impressed. Like if I was you, I would have bought a lottery ticket.
Yeah,
like,
I should have. And then we proceeded to. Oh my god, that's the same night my buddy.
You could have been like Chancellor of Germany at that point, man.
My buddy had this like she was like in her 60s and not really attractive, right? And my buddy was so fucking drunk, he just like he was getting like he was making like he was letting her make out with him. Like she was just on him, like flies on shit, like right.
Ooh.
And we were all sitting there like, and he was basically giving the save me face, but we're like, well, you're kind of an asshole to girls usually. We're just gonna let this one fly.
Yeah, you reap what you sow here. Yeah.
But he didn't like actually tell her off. He was just like he's sitting there up against a wall outside, like, you know, with his drink in I guess his hand. And he's like she's sticking her tongue
he
down
had
his
the
throat.
ability to be like, get off me, and he didn't.
Yeah, but he's like, you gotta get her away from me. And I'm like, I don't think I do. Like it's your problem, dude. Like, you know, if you weren't a big asshole to chicks, like maybe I would.
Karma coming back to bite you.
Right. She's like climbing up him and like
Ooh.
you know what I'm saying? Like he's up against the wall and she's like climbing up him, and it's like she was that's a fucking
like
that's
a cougar.
Like that's a cougar, like an old cougar. And I was like, well, if it happens, it happens. It's a long time coming. So, God. I mean, it's a long time coming because he was so mean to a lot of girls, and some of them rightfully so.
That's how it works.
Yeah, he was so mean, but like it, and that night, the next day or after we recovered from that one, because that was fun. He goes, yeah, you guys just sat there. You didn't get the signals, and I'm like, oh, I got the signals, like that you wanted to be rescued.
We just chose to ignore them.
Yeah, he got pissed. He's like, oh yeah, now I can count on you guys. And I'm like,
I mean, she's a fucking 60-year-old woman. You could just push her off and be like, I gotta go.
Right, and we're like, so there's a part of you that, you know, there's not one part of you that just didn't like that a bit, like the attention.
Yeah, you know, because if he really didn't like it, he would have been like, get away from me.
Right, where like your mommy issues didn't really come into play there. Like
mommy issues
wasn't a thing. And he's like, fuck you guys, fuck you. And it's like, well, hey, you know, I mean, to each their own.
Fair.
You know? I'm like, that's what we all said. We're like, you didn't just, take your fucking hand and like push her away and be like, we're done. You just kept going and you're blaming us like it's our problem because you feel ashamed.
Because you were just like, you wanted to be a reason to not look like a piece of shit when you could have just been your normal self, which was a piece of shit. Yeah.
And that was my one buddy that Jesus Christ. There's so many stories with him. Like, it's funny to me. It might not be funny to other people, like listening to me telling these stories, but like when you were there and you know these people, it's just it's hilarious. Like I mean, him getting he basically got me too'd by a 60-year-old woman. And at the end of the night, like we had to be like, okay, well, you're not coming home with us. I'm sorry. Like, we've got our satisfaction. Like, I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. Ooh. But she was smashed by about 8 p.m. Like, fucked, and it was hilarious because, But anyway, but no, the other part of that night, like we met some good people. We were dancing out in the fucking back parking lot. They had some music on, eating brats and sauerkraut, and it was
having a traditional German time.
Yeah, and drinking that beer and like mixed drinks and whatever. It was a great night, great fucking night. After I shit myself.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got off with that. I'd say that's a pass. Like,
yeah, I mean,
you're like I said, that's like probably the luckiest moment of your entire life.
No,
it's up there.
No, it's not even top 10.
It's up there.
It's not even top 10.
I don't think you realize how lucky you are.
Well,
I mean, to not get any shit on your pants.
Right, and I know, I acknowledge that. No, I know that's a feat. That's a luxury, but that's not even top 10. Jeez. How many times I got actually lucky? Like, that's maybe top 20.
Well, what is the luckiest moment of your life then? In like a quick story, like what do you think the luckiest moment of your life is?
I don't know. Just think about it for a bit.
I know exactly what my luckiest thing is.
Can I go take a piss and let the weasel horse out for a bit?
Sure, you can go, and I'll tell my story to the people while you go take a piss.
What does it got to do with?
It's nothing super all that cool, to be honest. It's a lot of really stupidity and sheer luck is all it is. It's
Well, why don't you just fucking wait?
Okay.
Like, it's not gonna be that long this time. Like, I'm not gonna have to go and track him down because he's fucking pissing. And
all right,
I'll be back.
Gonna go visit the waiter Cluzel. The good old waiter Cluzel. It's hot in here. Turn my AC on with a remote. Look at that. I think I might have told you guys this story before, actually, about the luckiest moment of my life. Some of you guys might have heard this. It's probably been a while, though. It's probably been a good long while. What, Red? What are you talking about, Mr. Xenon? No negligent discharge. No negligent discharges on stream. Yeah, what Canadian flag? I have like 20. You mean the one that's hanging up? It's 3x5. It's the standard 3x5. And then, so the 2 flags I got up currently, because I said I'd put up all the flags you guys send me. I got from Mr. Thomas Waters, I got U.S. Army Corps of Engineers flag, and then from Altman for my birthday, I got a Canadian World War II flag. Welcome back, Alexi. Welcome back. I'm getting all hot and sticky in my Portuguese uniform. Look at that. They even put the double snaps on here. So you gotta have like hyper expanded pockets. The Portuguese thought of everything. All right, Mike, are you ready for story time?
I am.
All right. So the year is 2013. We're sitting in this freshly abandoned compound, hanging out, pulling security on this wall on the roof of this building, which is also one of the walls of this building is part of this compound. All right, so like the outer wall of the compound is like 2 of the walls of the building. Sitting on the roof of this building on this corner, pulling security. The Air Force comes in, firebombs a opium field right next to this compound. Sets the whole thing on fire. Unaware that we were there, basically, because you know how communication is. And totally fine. Field's burning. It's a huge field. Thing's probably 200 acres burning. Hedgerows and everything. And burning for a long time. Finally, after about 2 hours of this burning, the wind shifts. And so now this burning opium field is just, all of the smoke is blowing right over this compound. Okay? It's now evening, early evening. And there's little particulates in the smoke raining down on this compound and everything like that. Everyone is got to this point where they're like numbing high on burning opium that is falling on us, you know, for the last 2 hours. Not to the point where like you're like high, but to the point where like your reaction time is considerably slow. Like, yeah. And at that point we get hit with sniper fire, yada yada, this and that. And one mortar round, only one mortar round for some reason, just one singular mortar round goes out. Doesn't even land in the compound. Lands like 20 yards outside the compound on the other side of the compound from where I am. Absolutely terrible shot. And the attack is coming from 2 sides. It's coming from the side that the mortar hit on and the side that I am on. So I do this thing where I'm leaning against the wall. So like the top half of my helmet is showing above this compound wall. And I took my left arm and I grabbed onto the wall and I used it to pull myself up and look around. So I'm looking over this wall. High as fuck, basically. Like reaction time slowed, not thinking all straight, tired as shit, you know, looking over this wall. Bullets are hitting the side of the compound, all that other good stuff. And I didn't realize it till like horrendously later, but something passed so close to my head that my helmet jostled. I didn't realize it till I sat back down and I was thinking about it for a little while. How close I was to probably being shot in the face. So, but that's probably the luckiest I've ever been. Yeah. I'd have to say, definitely the luckiest moment in my entire life.
Yeah, it's depressing.
Yeah, so like I said, it's not the best story, but it's definitely there. So
yeah,
cashed in all my karma points right then, and I think it was a worthwhile trade. Because if I would have been like 6 inches to my left, probably would have got shot in the face.
Well, yeah, and I consider one of my top 5 luckiest moments was when that rocket came in where I was
Yeah,
at.
that rocket. That's definitely a pretty lucky thing.
Because if they would have
So,
just like not panicked and armed it,
yeah, you probably would have caught something.
yeah, and so I mean, I don't know if that ranks in top like 1 or whatever, but like that's so I get it. Like you're
It's
sitting
up
there
there.
going,
It's that
it,
thing where you don't realize it until after it's happened, and you
then
sit
it
down
sinks
and you
in.
think about it.
Yep.
Yeah, and it sinks in because you're like, "Fuck, my helmet really moved for no reason." You're thinking about it, and you're like, "Something passed that fucking close."
Yep. And
That
yeah,
I could feel it. So, and you're like, "Whoa." And you
yeah,
start to realize just how lucky you were,
yeah. I mean, yeah, that kind of story is like it's relatable because like I mean, in a
It
combat
happens a
zone,
lot, like a lot.
yep. And
So,
it's funny like driving too. Like think about this driving. How many times have you been in a spot where it's like you're fucked, and all of a sudden you react just in the right way, and it's like, okay, well,
there's definitely been a few where like you don't realize it, but you do just the right thing. You're like, if I hadn't done that, that would have been horrendous.
that'd have been it. You're
Yeah.
done. You're
So,
done. So yeah,
oh god,
it's yeah, no, I get that. Like, so what I'm trying to like, downgrade your story. I'm just trying to think about like when you ask me like, what are your top 5 or whatever. It's like,
I mean that's easily I've lived a pretty anticlimactic life. I mean, it's probably
well,
at
so have
least I
I.
think. I mean, my life's probably been pretty exciting compared to a lot of people's, but I think I've lived a fairly and I go out of my way to try to live a fairly anticlimactic life. I've
Well,
had
not yeah.
more than enough excitement in my late teens and early 20s for a lifetime. I don't need any more. And
Yeah,
that's definitely the luckiest moment of my entire life in retrospect.
that's a very lucky moment. It's yeah, that's valid, like 100%. Like it's that's why war is so fucking retarded. It's just like
Fair. And then the best part is like 7 years later, after all those, constantly hearing the casualty reports every day and about how much money we're spending and how it's like affecting the global economy, this whole war and everything like that, we signed a peace treaty with the people that shot at me.
yeah, but we should have signed that peace treaty before we went
in 2002, like literally.
Yep.
Like, yeah, but it was bad because we've literally in 20 years done nothing, zero.
Well, like Chris, Jones, he's watching. I think he commented earlier.
He's participated in the same fucking shit sandwich I had to eat. So
yep, yeah, and it's like, yeah, you get a different perspective on war if you've been in it. Not to get like all deep, but like that's as deep as I'll go. But, like,
I mean, I don't know if he's still here, but I kind of ask him if he's like me. If he got like, I was to the point where like I don't believe in like I'm not a very angry person anymore. Anyways, I used to be have a lot of problems with anger, but people were like asking me if I was okay because when I heard that NATO and the United Nations and like America and everybody was going to sign a peace treaty with the Taliban, I was livid.
Yeah, it's a visceral reaction.
It's literally been 20 years, all right? And like some of the best years of my life for nothing. Yep. Nothing.
Well, yeah, you can look at it that way. You can look at it that way, but like
we didn't accomplish anything other than creating a bunch of opioid junkies.
Right, and like so in Iraq, it's the same thing. Like, what did I accomplish by being?
Well, I mean, at least Iraq seems to be doing okay. I mean, they're basically a puppet state to a degree now. Afghanistan's literally nothing.
Iraq is nothing too. Like it's.
I mean, it's a lot of nothing, yeah. But the U.S. got a lot of good deals if they uphold their current government and choose to help them. They did a lot of stuff out of it, but
yeah, but like
nothing.
I mean, yeah, it's you'd think of it as different, but it's the same because we went to
It's the
Iraq.
overall same principle, yes.
So okay, Afghanistan's got opium, Iraq had oil.
Yep.
Okay.
Same difference.
Well,
Yeah.
how much oil are we getting out of Iraq right now?
Not a lot.
We're getting a lot of opium out of Afghanistan.
We're getting a shit ton of opium out of Afghanistan. Well, actually, not anymore. Not since last year, actually. No.
Yeah, right. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's
but for like 20 years, fuck yeah, tons, literally metric tons of refined opium.
Tons. You know what's funny is honest to God, it's when I looked at this because I didn't realize this until like a year ago. Still, even with Afghanistan going on nowadays, more people died and were wounded in Iraq in the few years we were there than the entire Afghanistan war. And it's like, oh, and we got absolutely nothing out of Iraq.
Yeah. Iraq was definitely a lot more of an intense conflict than Afghanistan. But it was a lot of... Are we back?
Yep, we're back.
All right. Well, yeah, Iraq was a very intense, a long, intense war.
Yeah,
Afghanistan was a very little, pick and choose hot firefight here and there type thing. So it...
Yeah. And those firefights were hot, though. They were like...
It had its intense
but it was
moments, but it's for like 2 to 3 days and then done.
Yeah, and it's
Iraq
insane.
had battles that were months.
Yep. And even when I was there, like in 2009, it had like the big battles were mostly over.
Yeah.
But it was still like just people were getting killed. And it was like IEDs, fucking indirect fire, fucking direct fire. And it was like, you get to a point where the worst thing that I had to like realize was like, oh, I literally wasted a year of my life in my prime for people to get more
literally
rich.
Nothing. Yeah.
For that was a hard pill to swallow. Well, it wasn't even cheap. No, it's not even that. It's like Raytheon, Boeing, fucking, KBR, Halliburton.
Yep.
Like they made the money and I went there. And when I realized that was when I was there and I was talking to a guy that worked for KBR, and his job was to drive a brand new Ford F-150 at that point. It was 2009. He drove a 2008 F-150, white in color, like the truck. And he drove it around and drove TCNs, so third country nationals, like Indian guys and Nepalese guys, around to clean the fucking toilets and all that shit. And I'm like, what are you making?
So he was a chauffeur.
Goes, yep. And I'm like, what are you making? He goes, because I used to sit in his truck because it was air conditioned.
Yeah.
And I had to watch them work, which was fun. Like nice waste
just
of
doing security. Yep.
Yep. And I'm like, what are you making? He goes, I'm making $140,000 a year tax free. And I'm like, okay, so I'm here sitting here as a fucking
for minimum wage, basically, yeah.
And I made that whole year that I was deployed, I made about $34,000. 25 of that was tax free.
Yeah.
But that's what I made, doing a hell of a lot more work than he did.
Costing you a hell of a lot more. Yep.
Right. And also I found out later, like when I got back and I was on Facebook with him, he's like, oh, I was drunk 24/7 over there.
Yeah. You don't care. I mean, he's a chauffeur. Who the fuck cares?
Right. And he said, yeah, I got this shit sent to me in Listerine bottles, the white ones, they're like the whatever.
Yeah.
The opaque ones. And he's like, yeah, I got liquor sent to me. Like they were sending me mouthwash, but it's liquor. And yeah, I was drunk 24/7 when we were there. And I'm like, all right.
Nice. For $140K a year, I'll get drunk and drive an F-150 full of Indians. I don't care.
Yeah. Literally, that's literally what he did.
Fuck yeah! I wish I got to do that.
And when I started seeing that, I'm like, oh, there's something bigger going on here.
I mean, at least I was making $50,000 a year.
So, well, Canadian dollars is about the same as I was making. So let's be honest.
But yeah, but it would have still been more like $42,000 a year after conversion.
Right.
So
yeah, and I made 34-ish. You know.
So that's a good amount, but I was also higher on the pay scale than you were, but.
Right. Yeah, I was E3. You were an E4, and it's like.
Yeah.
But like, still, it's. You know, once I started realizing that, I'm like, well, yeah, there's a much bigger picture here, and like, what am I missing? And then.
Yeah, it turns out you're not missing anything. It turns out you're just getting fucked.
Yep, and that's a big reason why I got out when I had the first chance. I was like,
yeah, this isn't worth it. It's not. It's so not worth it.
And I joined.
Why do you think the military is having so hard with recruiting? Because people are realizing now. People are becoming self-aware of the government.
Right, and I joined because I was literally like brainwashed, and I thought like we were doing good in Iraq.
Yeah, the hero worship and everything. Yeah,
right. And I was like, I want to be a part of that. I want to do good in the world. Like I'm a good person.
Yeah,
and I want to like go over there and like make a difference. You know, positively.
And you don't.
Yeah, and it's like. And then you get back for the first year I was in denial. And then it started coming out and I'm like, oh,
the more and more you think about it, the more and more it infuriates you. And
well, and like, I don't know who said this, but like, it's, you know, it's easier to be tricked than to convince somebody that they've been tricked.
Yeah, I can agree to that.
And I was tricked. It was like, okay, I get that, and it's a hard pill to swallow, but like I admit it now, it's fine.
Yeah,
like,
America is like 1920s Japan. Everybody is raised from birth with all this hero worship and brainwash and like selfless service and sacrifice and crap. And then when they become, 18 years old, they're expected to go off and do all this shit just for the sake of doing it.
Yep.
So. And look how well that turned out for Japan.
Well, yeah, and it's.
I mean, America set the air on fire twice.
But here's the thing: is, do I feel bad about that? No, because I know my intentions were good.
Yeah, like exactly.
I have no
with
guilt.
All the right stuff. Yeah,
right. I have no guilt for what that. It's just like to come to terms with the fact that I was duped that hard for that big of a fucking commitment.
You feel really stupid. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
I don't know.
I feel you. I feel a lot of the same remorse over the same things. So
yeah, and I stopped being angry about that a couple years ago.
It's not worth it to get angry over it.
No, because it's like
try to move on with your life. You
know, the cool thing is like I look at the positives. Like I know it's cliche, like look at the positives, man, but like. No. So when I was in Iraq, I was in a place that I'm probably never going to be able to go to again. And
I mean, you got to experience a whole different culture. And
right,
you got a whole bunch of information a ton of people are never going to be able to experience in their lifetime.
And it's like I have people that live in the US now that I met who are Iraqi, and eventually I'm going to try to get him up here to do a live stream.
I want to meet him. He sounds like a cool guy.
John, my interpreter, he was only like he's only like a year and a half older than me. He's not that much older than me, so he was really young. And but yeah, we went through some weird shit together, and like I don't regret. I had to experience the culture. I actually, when I was there, I was one of the weird guys. I think I said this before on streams. Like they're like, "Oh, you want to just be a fucking Iraqi?" And I'm like. No, I just want to like, experience their culture and like.
I just want to experience it while I'm here. I want to do something to distract myself from this dumpster fire I'm standing in.
Right, and also I was like into history before.
Fair, and I mean, there's so much history there, and I was the same way. Like people gave me shit about stuff. I'm like, no, for one, it's a distraction for what you're doing, which is horrific.
Right.
And for two, I learned more than I probably ever have at any other point in my life.
Right, and that's the thing is like that's why I was the only American guy that I know of during that time that went to the Iraqi chow hall and ate with them. You know, it's like I went there and I've told you this probably, but not on stream, but like I started like I'm like, hey, can you bring me some food when you go back to the chow hall? Okay, yeah. I'm like, oh my god, this is really good. Like this is
it's fantastic.
And I always got sick from the American food because it sat in mermites for 12 hours before we ate it.
Shelf stable shit. Yeah.
Right. But it sat in these fucking nasty cans. And so I started eating the Iraqi
which is all fresh. Food.
And I was like, oh, this is really good, and it doesn't give me explosive diarrhea. Okay. And so the Iraqis, they were like, you come with us to eat chow. Like very basically English. Like I'm saying more, but like you come with us, eat chow. And I'm like, okay. Is that okay? Yes, no problem. You know, I'm like, okay, fine. And so, yeah, I went, the first time I went to their tent that they ate at, it's loud. They're all talking and shit. You know, they're eating.
Yep.
I walk in there with these Iraqi guys, and all of a sudden it's like a black guy walking to a KKK bar.
The
music stops.
Silent. Yeah.
Yep. Everybody just looks at me and they're like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" And the Iraqi guy's like, "No. You basically like he's just gonna eat chow with us. Like it's fine, not a problem. Like go back to eating." And they're all like,
"He's a spy." Yeah.
Yep. And so I grab my tray and I go up to the Iraqi, you know, the chow line. They're military, so it's a chow line.
Yeah.
And they put that on there. I'm like, okay, you know, shukran. And then they look at me weird and they pile some shit on and I'm like, okay, shukran. They're like, more? And I'm like, yes. I'm like, naam, you know?
Yeah.
Which means yes. And so they put more on and I'm like, shukran. And I went down and like my fucking tray was piled by the end of this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this is gonna be good. So we sat down and I'm sitting there and they have hot sauce. They've got, you know, salt and pepper and everything else. And so I'm putting this on there and I'm eating this food and they're all every one of the Iraqis is looking at me.
It's just watching you. Yep. Been there before where you're eating shit and they're all just watching you.
Right. Yeah. And the guys that like I know, like that I work with on a daily basis are like, we're just talking, you know, we're having fun and making jokes and making fun of each other and all that shit. And we're eating and I'm like, oh, so good. Fucking, you know, Kholusian, you know, fucking like very good. And we're eating it. All of a sudden, as I'm eating, I'm looking around and I'm like, what the fuck? And then I keep eating and we're talking, and then all of a sudden the murmur starts up again and like people are talking, and then by the time I'm almost done, like it's back to normal, right? And I'm just sitting there eating and joking with these guys, and they all see like it's not a big deal, and I'm like, holy fuck, this is so good. Like it's so good, and it's like it's real food, but I'm like, I'm full, so I left a bunch on my tray.
It's so fantastic.
Yeah, it's good stuff. But yeah, so I started doing that.
What's the number one like food or thing you miss
from Iraq?
Yeah.
So they had this thing that I think I told you about this. It's tepsi, but I can't pronounce the second word. It's an eggplant lamb stew. They have
Never
like meatballs.
You probably told me about
stew.
It before, yeah.
Yeah, so they have. It's like, well, you can either make meatballs, or when they were in a rush, they just have like chunks of lamb because they use lamb like we use beef, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, lamb is fantastic, and people need to eat more.
It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. And so they either make meatballs, you know, or they just have the lamb, and then it's eggplant, tomato sauce, a little bit of onion, garlic, and then they put in red peppers and green peppers, and then some chilies to like make it a little bit hot. And then they'd serve it with rice, and then the hummus, which is like their flatbread.
Yeah.
And that, oh god damn. Yeah, I wish I could find a thing I could eat that's like hummus. Like they made it in this stone fucking oven. Like it's hot. It's delicious. It's so good. The bread, but like you basically like I was starting to eat it with like the plastic silverware they give us. They were all just going like take the hummus, the bread.
Yeah, they were eating with their hands, like how you. Yeah.
And so I'm like, yep, fuck it, let's do this. And so I started doing that. And it was so good. Oh, so good. And they had for breakfast they would have eggs with a lot of fucking oil and onions, just scrambled eggs with onions in them. And
Sounds
then they would
good.
have hummus, of course. They had fucking bread with every meal. And they'd have
carbs is like, awesome. I like carbs.
Yeah, but they made like this sauce too that you could put on the eggs if you wanted to or whatever. But yeah, it was
all
so
the
good.
Lukewarm kefir you could drink.
Yes, actually, that's the first place I learned about kefir because they would drink it, and I'm like, "What the fuck are you drinking?"
It like leaves a thick layer on the inside of the glass.
Oh
yeah.
Well, no, they were drinking out of plastic, which sucks. But like, yeah, so they were drinking kefir, and I'm like, "What the fuck is that?" So I tried it, and I'm like, "It tastes like plain yogurt," which my grandma always
really
had.
Sour.
Yeah, but like it was familiar, and I'm like, okay. So I drank it, and they're like, "Oh, make you strong protein," and I'm like, okay. All right, but it's good.
It is good. I mean, all it is bacteria and milk. So.
But the coolest thing, like for drink wise, is they would. It was funny because like it got to the point where I could go into the Iraqi tent alone, like when they were just
because they would know who you were. Yeah.
Yep. And I'd be like, chai. And they'd be like, okay. They'd fill up a plastic fucking liter bottle full of chai, hot chai, which was extremely strongly brewed Ceylon tea.
See, now that's the thing that I actually missed the most too, was how like whenever you have like the 7 pillars of how Pashtun society works. It's like when you walk into a village, you're a guest. And that's the thing I miss most. They make a really strong mint tea with like dried mint. So they'd go pick mint because it just would grow, and they would dry it above their fireplaces. And you'd get a big, and then they would put this big like dried bundle of mint in it to steep with the tea. And fuck, is it awesome. And I wish I could do that here, but I can't.
Right. And so their chai was what I just said, but like mixed with a fuckload of sugar. I mean, like a fuckload of sugar. And they
so it's like their version of sweet.
Are you lagging really bad, or is that me? Like,
well, it's you. You're frozen on my end. Are you back?
Yeah, I mean, I'm here, but like you're so blurry right now. It's like 2003.
I was just fine, but you were a little frozen for me.
Yeah, it's still
my ping seemed to be good on my end, so
yeah, it's probably me. I'm gonna take a piss while this is lagging. We'll talk about chai when I get back.
Okay. It's me. Oh, it might be on my end. That's not good. I hope it's not me. I hope, anyways. That'd be not cool. It might be me. You never know. Everything's been having so many fucking problems lately. You never know. But it very well could have been me. I mean, my internet's been very hit or miss because they're doing so much infrastructure here, and then YouTube's also been just a dumpster fire lately. An absolute fucking dumpster fire.
God, it's still fucking.
Well, everyone was saying it was probably me. So
yeah, you look like we're talking on Skype in fucking 2003.
Ooh, yeah, no, it could be anything, like the internet infrastructure they're doing here, or YouTube, or anything in general. It could be anything.
Yeah. Yeah. So you were also lagging, like it was like a fucking 5-second delay.
Ooh, so, no, that's bad. Yeah.
Yeah. So it might be your shit. Finally, for once, I'm not the worst.
Oh, well, it's just because it's summer now. The internet's good in the winter when they're not touching anything.
Right.
But now that they're fucking touching everything.
Yeah, Chai it was like a monster on steroids.
It's like sweet tea from Iraq.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, but it was like, it's so fucking strong. Like they would drink it by the little shot glass, but we were drinking it by like the gulp, like out of a bottle.
So like liter bottle, yeah.
Yeah. It's not good. I mean, it was delicious. It was fantastic, but like, yeah, I stopped drinking energy drinks because I was drinking that, and then I got really addicted to caffeine because it had so much caffeine and sugar in it. Like
chai has a lot of caffeine in it. Yeah.
Oh Christ, it was ridiculous. And then during Ramadan, they made samosas that were like these triangle shaped, puff pastry things filled with lamb and fucking walnuts or almonds, whatever kind of nuts there were, onions and spices, and then so it's funny because like I was eating them and I'm like, oh god damn. But it was funny because at the Chow Hall they had Taco Bell hot sauces packets you could get.
The packets of Taco Bell, yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, and so I was like, these would be fantastic dipped in these. And so the Iraqis, like, I was pouring, I was pouring the sauce. I'm like, oh, this is really good. They tried it and they're like, oh my god, yeah, this is, oh Jesus. We would get so fucking full off of these goddamn samosas that they would make. These deep fried fucking pastry things with meat and nuts and potatoes and onions in them. We would get so ridiculously like just tired that we're like, oh the fuck, Jesus Christ.
You get like that food that's so good that you're like, you gotta take a nap.
Oh God, yeah, but it's like mixing that with chai. It's like, well, we're awake now, but we're not feeling good,
Oh yeah, it's the uppers and the downers mixing.
Oh yeah, exactly. And it was just, man, it was so fucking. Their food was so much better than ours. I never got sick from it, ever. Or the Indian food, like the TCNs that were working for us, like in the Chow Hall, they had their little curry bar set up basically, and like we realized we could eat that, like it was fair game for us. And oh man, it was between the Indian food and the Iraqi food. It was just so fucking good. Oh.
I mean, I like fresh food and Middle Eastern foods.
It's pretty good, yeah.
Really hard to beat.
It's pretty good. So, all right, well, we've done 2 hours and
2 whole hours, yeah.
Yep. So, hey, thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for the super chats. Hope you enjoyed the shit story. I've got plenty more. I've got if you're watching this on the next stream that we do, whenever we do it, I have a story about St. Patrick's Day in 2012. So yeah, you guys remember that? You guys remember that, and then ask me about it, and then we'll do a shill for money. Wait,
before you go, where do I get the beer that you were talking about?
You can't get it right now. It's seasonal.
I know, but like what do I look for when it comes in for seasonal?
I don't know if your stores are going to have it. We'll talk about it later. I'll tell you why.
All right.
But like, it's very niche. It's from Germany. It's actually a German beer. So.
All right. Well, this has been War and Shit Stories with Mike B and Devin K.
War and Shit Stories. That'd be fucking fun. Like, do a subscription service for War and Shit Stories.
War and Shit Stories. I mean, polar opposite sides of the spectrum, but sometimes they mesh together.
Well, they definitely mesh together. Like when I mentioned the Devil's Pancake earlier, That's a thing.
No, you gotta save it now. It's a thing. You gotta save it.
I've heard it happening, and I was like, no, this can't be. And I witnessed it, and it's real. So, but devil's pancake is not a good thing. It's probably one of the worst things.
It doesn't sound like a good thing.
Oh, it's
Is it worse
good,
than a Boston pancake? Probably.
Oh. When we get off stream, I'll explain it to you.
Okay.
And you can be the judge. All right. Later, guys. Thanks for watching.